Morning of August 6, 1945, Hiroshima woke up like any other summer day. The sky was clear, the air was calm, and the city moved through its familiar routines. Children prepared for school, workers headed toward factories and offices, and streetcars moved quietly through the streets. There were no air raid sirens, no warnings, and no signs that anything unusual was about to happen. At exactly 8:15 a.m., everything changed. A single flash of light, brighter than the sun itself, exploded in the sky above Hiroshima and altered the course of human history forever. The atomic bomb detonated nearly 600 meters above the city. In that instant, temperatures rose to several thousand degrees Celsius. Buildings were crushed or vaporized. Steel melted as if it were paper. People closest to the blast disappeared without a trace, while others were burned so deeply that only their shadows remained etched onto walls, staircases, and streets. A powerful shockwave raced outward, flattening homes, schools, hospitals, and entire neighborhoods. Within seconds, Hiroshima was transformed into a landscape of fire, smoke, and silence. Around 70,000 people were killed instantly. By the end of the year, the death toll would exceed 140,000. To understand why Hiroshima was bombed, we must look at the final months of World War II. By 1945, the war had already claimed tens of millions of lives. Nazi Germany had surrendered in May, but the conflict in the Pacific continued with extreme brutality. Japan, though weakened, refused to surrender. American leaders feared that an invasion of the Japanese mainland would lead to enormous casualties on both sides, possibly costing millions of lives. At the same time, the United States had been secretly developing a revolutionary weapon through the Manhattan Project. After years of research, the atomic bomb was ready. Hiroshima was selected as the target for several reasons. It was an important military and industrial center, and it had not been heavily bombed before, allowing military planners to clearly observe the bomb's full destructive power. The city was densely populated with civilians who had little knowledge of what was about to happen. When the bomb, known as Little Boy, was released from the bomber Enola Gay, the fate of Hiroshima was sealed. For those who survived the initial blast, the nightmare was far from over. Fires spread rapidly across the city, merging into massive firestorms that consumed everything in their path. Burned and wounded civilians wandered through the ruins, searching for water, family members, and help. Rivers filled with desperate people trying to ease their pain, many of them dying in the water. Hospitals had been destroyed, doctors and nurses were dead or injured, and medical supplies were almost non-existent. The scale of suffering was beyond anything the world had ever seen. In the days and weeks that followed, a new and invisible enemy emerged. Radiation sickness began to claim lives. Survivors who had appeared unharmed suddenly fell ill. Hair fell out, internal bleeding began. People vomited blood and collapsed without warning. Many died slowly, confused and terrified, unable to understand what was happening to their bodies. Radiation did not disappear after the explosion. It lingered in the air, the water, and the soil, silently affecting everyone who had survived. The long-term consequences were devastating. In the years that followed,